Welcome to day 10 of learning React Native. Today we'll make our list screens feel much more modern and user friendly by adding two things: pull to refresh, local caching using async storage. Pull to refresh is gesture we all know, drag down and list reloads. It is similar to refresh controller and calling collection view dot reload data or table dot table view dot reload data. It's similar concept which is there in Swift. Local caching is another topic we'll be covering. It helps our app load faster by storing previous API results inside the device itself. Let's start by installing async storage. In terminal we'll write at the rate react native hyphen async hyphen storage slash async hyphen storage. Okay, so now let's update our post screens to support pull to refresh and store posts locally, as well as loading cache data instantly before hitting the API. First, here we need to import. Let's add it before our UI thing. No, we need to add some UI as well. Import async storage, not just this. In UI components, we need to add refresh control. Refresh control. Okay. Now we need for refreshing as well another constant refreshing. We need to set it as well. Refreshing. Okay, we'll use set refreshing. Use state will be false. This will be set by our when we pull at that time it will be set to true. Okay, so instead of this we need another function, async function load cached posts. Okay, I'll call this cached post from here instead of fetch post. Okay, in cache post I'll call for constant cache await. I'll call for async storage dot get item. I'll give a key for that as well. It's a key, you can give anything, but I'm giving it as posts as it is related to post, so that cache I'll keep it as. After that, if I do have, if it is not empty, then I'll set the posts as well. Okay, I'll write JSON dot parse cached. Okay, I think that is done here. After the cache data is loaded, then I'll fetch the posts. Okay, if there is any update. Okay, I need to give a catch if there is any error. Okay, inside I'll console log it now if there is an error. Cache, you can use to show the error as well, but if there is any issue, again I'll fetch the post. Okay, inside fetch post we need to add another code called await that will set that particular data or this JSON inside the cache so that we are able to get it before calling the API for any next time, or before calling the API when we need it, it is easier for us. Stringify JSON dot stringify JSON. I'll pass this. So when I set item, it can be accessed here with the same key. Okay, after that it will set the post, list will be reloaded, but list will be loaded, but if there is any, after which we'll call the fetch post if there are any changes, or we will load it into the UI and set that same thing into the cache. So yeah, and also yes, finally we also need to set refreshing to false. Okay, after this we'll be calling a constant, we'll be creating a constant on refresh set refreshing to true, fetch posts true. So also need to check if there is refresh. Okay, so is refresh is equal to false. Okay, I'll set it as true, otherwise it will be always false, as I've set it as false here. One bracket I need to change. Yeah, defaultly it will be false. Okay. Posts dot length is equal to 0, then I'll show loading. Okay, if it is empty, then only I'll show. If it is loading, as well as if posts are 0 or there is no posts, then I'll show the loading part. Otherwise, as you can see, posts will be loaded, and yeah, posts will be loaded. Apart from this, I think we need to add here refresh controller is equal to, yes, refresh refresh controller refreshing is equal to, let's pass our refreshing here. Okay, refreshing. Okay, on refresh we'll call on refresh from our side as well. So what will happen is refreshing is just checking for if you have the boolean is true. Where is it? Sorry. Okay, this will check for this boolean if it is true or no, and this we are passing on our on refresh. This one, if it is being pulled, it's true, then this will get called. Okay, so after that you can also set content style, adding bottom, 20. Okay, 20. So let me break what is happening here. So load caching, we use async storage to store the posts from API locally on the device. Okay, that is what we are doing here. Async dot set item stores data, and async dot get item retrieves stored data. In load cached posts, okay, we check if cached posts exist. If yes, then we show them instantly. That is what we are doing here. And then fetch fresh data in the background. This makes the app feel extremely fast. Okay, pull to refresh also we are doing here inside flat list. Okay, refresh control uh, and refreshing, this is the code we have added. So on refresh simply calls fetch post true. Okay, here we have it calls for fetch post true and sets the refreshing to true as well. Okay, so when the user drags down the list, refreshing becomes true. Okay, refreshing becomes true, spinner shows, fresh data loads. Okay, spinner hides. That's what it happens. This is native behavior in almost every mobile app. Okay, moving forward, let's understand what user experience improvements these two features bring to your app. Firstly, loads instantly using cached content. Secondly, updates in the background. Thirdly, let's user manually refresh with a swipe. Lastly, feels modern and polished. Then moving on, we can talk about the summary of the day. Today we learned how to implement pull to refresh, how to cache API response locally, how to load cache data instantly, how to make your list feel fast and modern. This is how real world React Native apps are built. In day 11, we'll learn how to build a form complete with text input fields, validation, and submission. See you tomorrow. Bye.